It got a 13-minute standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival. Elvis is getting rave reviews. We're joined now from Graceland by Austin Butler, who plays the king of rock and roll, and the one and only Tom Hanks, who plays Colonel Tom Parker. Welcome to you both, guys. We're going to get to the movie in a minute, but tell us where you're coming from.
Perfect.
That worked, right?
Perfect segue. Yeah.
Oh,
we're here in as Guns N' Roses said, "Welcome to the Jungle Room." Here we are, the original man cave. The original man cave. I don't think that Elvis Presley was a harbinger of the next thing that every man wanted: TVs in every room and a jungle room man cave. This is the place. It's never fallen into disrepair. It is exactly now as it was the last time Elvis, sat right there at the couch.
Wow. So, Austin, you transformed into the king so well. The hair, the voice, all the moves. How intimidating was it to take it on, though?
It was the most intimidating thing I've ever done. I honestly didn't sleep for about 2 years, and I didn't do anything else for that time. So yeah, that was my life.
That was a pretty honest answer right there.
I want to know what it was like for the two of you. And Tom, I'll start with you. You're there in Graceland. You've got members of the Presley family in attendance, and you're there at the screening. What was that like?
Well, there was a screening the night before, and I think it was the first time an awful lot of people had seen all of us, and I want to certainly include the Presley clan, Priscilla and Lisa Marie, there. Look, you don't want to. They have had the man in their lives represented in so many different ways, from, with the familiarity of a Hershey bar or a Coca-Cola bottle, to ways that I think that really didn't do the man's service or his artistry. And that they've been a part of this movie from the get-go. When was the first time Baz talked to Lisa Marie?
I think it was 5 years ago.
5 years ago. This has been a long haul. And I would be very, very suspect if anybody was going to come to me 5 years ago and says, "We want to make the definitive movie about you and your family." I would be waiting to find out if I could trust those people or not. And God bless them. They responded to Baz's artistry. They responded to the incarnation of Elvis by way of this living legend sitting right next to me right now. But and it wasn't just to have them, but also have, look, Memphis is a town unlike many others, and the people here love Memphis, support Memphis, and Elvis Presley is Memphis. You do not want to disappoint these people. And I don't think we did. The screening, I sat in it and saw the movie for the third time because I wanted to see more of what this guy did. It's very, very powerful. And to be here across the street from Graceland and with the Presley family, the building itself, it's an extraordinary moment of authenticity and no small amount of, whew, oh, we got away with that one. Thank God we did exactly what Baz wanted us to do.
You definitely did not disappoint, Tom. And Austin, Baz Luhrmann, he just posted a video of you on set, like of just clowning around and playing around on set during an early screen test. And he revealed that you sang a lot of Elvis's songs yourself. So why was that important for you to use your own singing voice?
It was important because the whole thing was about stripping away the icon of Elvis and getting down to the humanity of him, and that was what was fascinating for me. But music was how he expressed himself, and so what way to connect to his soul more than through trying to do that as authentically as possible. So that was very early on, the very first day that I ever approached it. I said, I don't know how much of it's going to be me, but I want to prepare as though I'm going to do it all. And now I know that all of the 50s in the film is me, and it's so surreal. I gotta pinch myself every day because it feels like a dream. I can't even believe this.
Well, it's not a dream, and we have the evidence. Let's give everybody a look.
I wasn't fooling when I told those other kids I was going to buy them a Cadillac one day.
My boy, with me, you'll buy them 2 Cadillacs.
Uh-huh. 200.
$1 million.
An aeroplane.
A rocket ship. Even not a rocket ship. My mama don't like me to fly.
Well, what about you, Mr. Presley? Are you ready to fly?
Yes, sir. I'm ready. Ready to fly.
Tom, what was it about Colonel Tom Parker that drew you to the role?
He was a diabolical genius. Accent on both words. He was diabolical, and he was a genius. You have to. Priscilla herself. We had dinner before we went back and started working on the movie. She said, "You have to understand this about the Colonel. He was a delightful man. He brightened every room he walked into. He took great care of us. He was very polite, very genteel. He never said no. But he was not Elvis's manager. He was Elvis's promoter. There was not enough of an artistic bone. There weren't enough artistic bones in the Colonel's body to, I think, particularly later on in Elvis's career, to see the grander cultural force that Elvis could have been. He was huge. He was iconographic. He was bigger than life. He was a superhero. But there was moments later on in the movie where the society is going through vast cultural shifts and great tragedies. And if the Colonel had truly been a genius and not as much diabolical protecting his interests, Elvis could have been even greater than the sum of his parts.
Wow. And Austin, you obviously play the legend Elvis, but you worked alongside the living legend of Tom Hanks. What was that like?
Hey, they're laughing. Stop laughing. The crew is laughing now.
It's true. I've said this before, but I don't know a time in my life, in the same way as I don't know a time in my life where I didn't know who Elvis was, I don't know a time in my life where I didn't know who Tom was. He feels like a part of my family because of the amount of times I've seen him on my TV from the time I was born. So
VHS tapes.
Yeah, they were all VHS tapes. Yeah, so it was. But I mean, just thinking of the amount of films that I've admired, and he's my hero, and then getting to be in the same room with Tom, and he surpassed any idea that I had.
You know, the COVID protocols kept us apart. We did not get to hang out nearly as, I mean, half of the making a movie is the quality of the hang. And we were always kept separated because of literally the biosecurity requirements of the state of Queensland in Australia. We could not hang out with each other. But there was that one day very early on where we were wearing our civilian clothes, we were able to meet up, and we got to lock eyes for a minute and register the overpowering fear that we were both trying to wrestle with. Look, I mean, in all honesty, if this was the movie called The George Stephanopoulos Story, this man is playing George Stephanopoulos. That's a big responsibility around the set.
That's right.
You know, and I'm just playing man in headset number 3 as opposed to that movie. So he had a lot more pressure on him.
My teenage daughters would be pretty happy with Austin Butler playing George Stephanopoulos.
That's my next.
As Austin's promoter, let's sign that contract right now. We can make this happen.
That's the diabolical side. Thank you both very much. Elvis hits theaters everywhere June 20. Chris Connolly sat down with Priscilla Presley and the up-and-coming actress who plays her on the big screen. Hey, Chris.
Hey, George, yeah, from the director who brought us the razzmatazz of Moulin Rouge, Baz Luhrmann's Elvis offers a freshly imagined journey into the life of the man who transformed American culture forever. And Priscilla Presley thinks he's pulled it off, thanks in part to the actors playing her and Elvis, the talented Olivia de-Jong, and as the king, the remarkable Austin Butler.
So I'm sitting there watching this movie and going, God, I wish you could see this. You know, it was perfection.
As revelatory as Baz Luhrmann's Elvis hopes to be for those unaware of Elvis Presley's effect on American pop culture, Priscilla Presley knows that the film hits different for those who loved Elvis best. There's an aching moment in the film, Olivia, in which your Priscilla asks Elvis to go to San Diego and to get some treatment for his drug dependency. What kinds of thoughts went through your mind as you saw that scene, Priscilla?
Memories. It was getting more and more frightening as time went by, where he just was like rebelling.
for Priscilla here in Memphis outside Graceland, where she and Elvis lived as husband and wife. Austin Butler's performance in the title role and the film itself evoking some powerful emotions.
Austin was just unbelievable. As I was watching it, actually, and going, wow, this is a movie that he would have really loved, showing who he was, what he was striving for, what his dreams were.
Priscilla would watch as actress Olivia DeJonge played her.
I am your wife!
In times of contentment with Elvis and days before their divorce.
It's so strange. It really is when someone is playing you. I'm so happy that she was sensitive and that she was caring and that, you know, she was a little strong with him as well. And, you know, I thought she did a really, really nice job. I was pleasantly surprised.
Olivia, what's that like to hear?
I mean, it's a huge relief, that's for sure. I mean, yeah, it's so strange to talk about because you're right next to me, but, you know, obviously within my research, it was so evident the amount of love and care and sensitivity that was there, so I'm very glad that that came through.
Oh, no, it did come through.
Whatever the weather might have been in their relationship, the movie showcases Priscilla's deep feelings for Elvis, an unbreakable bond.
It's easy to look back and sort of see them as this, as this sort of like iconic couple, celebrity, fame, fortune. One of the most important things was to just strip that away and just sort of play a girl and a boy that were in love.
Elvis is in theaters next Friday, and we'll have a lot more with the Presley family and the cast of the new movie coming up tonight on Nightline. Elvis is very much in the building, George.
No question about that, Chris. And our primetime special, exclusively Elvis, is next Tuesday, June 21st at 10 p.m.
Before Elvis hits theaters later this week, we've got a preview from our Elvis Primetime Special tonight. Chris Connolly sat down with the all-star cast and Elvis's family for their thoughts on the new movie. Good morning, Chris.
Hey, good morning, Michael. Yes, a rebel, a rock and roll star, a game changer from the 1950s onward. Even now, we are all affected by what Elvis accomplished and by the things he didn't or couldn't do. They're still with us also. So is all that great music. The new movie, Elvis, takes a fresh look at his life, and now it's earned the enthusiastic approval of some very important viewers.
I wasn't thinking about what I was physically going to do. I felt like I was looking out of his eyes.
Elvis Presley changed America with the sound of his voice and the size of his dreams.
Well, you may go to college.
The soft-spoken rebel who gave birth to the rock and roll era.
I didn't quite realize till I made this movie that was the sexuality of what Elvis did on stage. No one had moved like him before.
Taking it on for 2022, filmmaker Baz Luhrmann, Australian visionary of Moulin Rouge, conjuring insights and spectacle for the film Elvis.
He was like, we have Elvis the superstar. We don't have Elvis the man. We don't have Elvis the boy. We don't have the context of his upbringing until now.
Finding his ideal Elvis in the charismatic 30-year-old actor Austin Butler.
The deep fascination of behind somebody that everybody feels they know, or the misconceptions. I wallpapered my entire apartment with this timeline of his life.
You're looking for trouble? You came to the right place.
Riley looked at me and she was like, is that your dad? And I went, I don't know.
His performance powerful enough to win the approval of Elvis's only child, Lisa Marie Presley, and her daughter, actress Riley Keough, who watched Elvis together after Lisa Marie had seen it on her own first.
It was such an emotional, like Riley said, it just brings up such generational trauma. I mean, in a good way. And Riley, you know, 5 minutes in, was already like gone. I'm done. She was already crying, and I was crying.
It was really intense. As a film, it's just an exceptional film.
And we'll have a lot more with the Presley family and the people who made Elvis tonight. At one of his first recording sessions, he sang, "If you don't believe I'm leaving, you can count the days I'm gone." But from his devoted fans to the way he transformed popular music, it's like he never left. Our primetime special, exclusively Elvis, premieres tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on ABC, and Elvis is in theaters Friday.